Hey, I'm Dr. Tony. I am a psychotherapist, success and leadership mentor, educator, and mom of four. I'm glad that you're here with me today. I want to talk about something that is often talked about mainstream nowadays, but I want to call BS on because it is something that I don't think is being talked about in a way that's as practical and therefore as powerful as it could be. And that thing is self-care. Self-care is talked about now mainstream as though it's all fluff stuff, like it's something that you have to add on to your day-to-day and spend money on, as if self-care is a luxury, as if only mani and pedis, as if only massages, as if only taking this extraordinary amount of time or space to do X, Y, or Z in addition to the life that you're living, that's the way self-care is supposed to work for you. And that we need to call BS on, because what happens is that when that kind of self-care is talked about, when that kind of self-care is believed to be the only form of self-care that makes a difference, it actually creates more stress, which is the opposite of what we're trying to do, right? It becomes counterintuitive, because self-care being an add-on or a luxury or something that's expensive makes it feel unattainable for many people that are either, maybe they have tight finances, maybe they can't find childcare, maybe their work schedule isn't set up in such a way where they can do some of those things that they want to tack on. Maybe it's a matter of X, Y, or Z. It could be a ton of different reasons why. It could be so many different reasons why they feel like they can't add on this self-care to their life, and therefore they're stuck. Right? I don't have time for self-care. Self-care is a luxury. I don't have money for self-care. I'm too busy, right? So we need to change. We need to change how we talk about self-care. Call BS on that form of self-care. It doesn't mean that if a manicure, pedicure, or a massage day or a vacation, if that feels good to you and it is relaxing for you and it is something that you choose and can do, it doesn't mean that that can't be a form of self-care for you, but it is not the form of self-care. It is not what self-care must be. It is not the definition of self-care. It's not. And I'm going to tell you why. Self-care is really about setting up a lifestyle that integrates maintenance for our needs within it, which means self-care isn't supposed to be an afterthought. Self-care isn't supposed to be an add-on. Self-care isn't supposed to be something that's so impractical that it feels unattainable or unreachable or unavailable because it's a luxury. Self-care is about caring for ourselves as part of the life we are living. So it is integrated, not added on. It is not just required, but desired. All right, it's required and desired, not a luxury, right? And so what self-care, when it's practical and therefore more powerful, because if it's more practical, it's going to be incorporated more. And if it's incorporated more, it's going to have more powerful benefits, right? So a practical form of self-care is in moments within our day. It's how we choose to begin our day with ourselves. It's embedded with how we infuse our talk with ourselves throughout the day. It's embedded with how we take breaks throughout our day, or how we treat ourselves in the midst of the busy or the chaos of the day. Self-care is an integration of caring for oneself, one's needs, and one's maintenance. We all have maintenance: mental, physical, spiritual, emotional. Emotional, mental to me are together, right? That's the full psychological caboodle, right? All of these pieces of ourselves, we take time each day in an embedded way, in an integrated way, in a way that is aligned with our lifestyle, with our way of living, that fuels us, that restores us, that renews us, that connects us with what it is that we need. Maybe it's a sense of relaxation, but maybe it's fun. Maybe it's energy. That's still a form of self-care. And so what might that look like for you? Well, in the morning, maybe the self-care that you choose to integrate within your lifestyle, so you're living a lifestyle, a day-to-day that cares for self, that embeds self-maintenance within it. Maybe as you wake up in the morning, you take 5 minutes of intentional time with yourself as you're brushing your teeth and doing your hair or taking your shower, and you choose to fully focus only on you and nothing else. The bathroom door is locked. That's practical for some. It's not practical for others. That's okay. You get to choose what to embed in your day-to-day. Maybe it's you are talking to yourself while you're in the shower about the different things that you are proud of that you've done. Maybe it's taking breath and allowing yourself to relax your shoulders and your facial muscles while you're in the shower. Maybe it's, you know what? I am going to go for that jog or that run, or I am going to listen to this really high upbeat music that makes me feel really good, just for me, because it feels good, because it fuels me on the way to work. Or if you work from home, before I begin work. Maybe it's you have just some me time in the morning where you get to choose what you do for 5 or 10 minutes or longer, if that works for your schedule. But it's embedded. It's not even costing you anything. It becomes embedded in your day and not something that you have to do. It's something that you are wanting to do, right? Because remember, it's not, self-care isn't about just being required. It's about being desired. This is something I desire to do for me. I desire to do this for me. It feels good for me. It's fueling a part of me that is needing and wanting to be fueled right now, mentally, physically, spiritually, relationally, whatever the case may be for you. It doesn't have to be an add-on. And it certainly is not supposed to be a luxury. No matter who we are or where we are, we can embed self-care in our life, in our day-to-day, if we choose to do it intentionally. But if self-care is defined as this thing that has to be added onto our already chaotic and busy lifestyle, or already chaotic and busy schedules, or already super stressful life and responsibilities, then it is going to feel unattainable. It's going to feel like a big to-do. It's not going to feel desirable. And even if it does, even if it is something, oh, I wish I could, but I can't. Now it just feels worse. Don't you feel worse? Oh, I wish I could. I had time for self-care, but I don't. No, self-care is embedded in your day-to-day, in the moments. During lunch, take a lunch. One way to care for yourself, take a lunch or take a meal break or whatever meals or snack breaks you take it. And then enjoy looking out the window. If you need to connect with nature, that's caring for yourself, embedding that in your day. Or watch something funny. Because if you notice that as you are caring for yourself, you're like, oh, I need a good laugh. Watch something funny or talk to someone that makes you laugh. Or remind yourself of a funny time. This is all integrating in it, rather than saying, oh, I don't have time to do this thing for self-care. All of these sound simple, right? Well, different. To some, they sound simple. To some, they don't. So it's definitely going to take practice regardless, if it's not already part of your lifestyle, right? But it is a way of engaging with yourself in a caring way and doing that by integrating it into your life. That is sustainable self-care. And when it's sustainable, when it's practical, we do it more. And therefore, it is just going to help us more. It doesn't have to be this big, luxurious thing. I can't. I have 4 children. My youngest is 6 months. I run my mentorship business. I run my psychotherapy business. I have my house to take care of. We've got 9 acres. We've got a dog, blah, 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 right? Like, I'm not going for massages every week. I'm not going to get mani-pedis aren't really my thing. Like, maybe I'll do it once a year. I don't know. It's just not my thing, right? And that's all fine. So when I embed self-care in my life, it looks like me making sure that in the morning, I'm asking myself, what do I need right now? How can I care for myself right now? And doing that. And I embed that in my lifestyle. In the middle of the day, I ask myself, what do I need right now? Oh, a walk to move. I'm going to go do that. It doesn't matter if it's in the house or out of the house, whatever it is, I need and want to care for myself in those moments. I'm asking myself that question and I've integrated it into my lifestyle. And so there's both this sense of structure, right? Because you're asking yourself that question and maybe there's certain things that you do tend to do more often, but there's also this sense of flexibility where if I'm needing or wanting something that's going to care for me right here and right now, and it's different now than it was yesterday, I'll do that different thing. Or I'll engage in this different way with myself. And that's okay too. Because true balance, the way nature intended it, is an ebb and flow. It's not about doing all of the things all at once and having that juggling act on the tightrope. That's not what true balance is, right? True balance is an ebb and a flow. Noticing in the structure within I'm operating right now, what is it that I need? There's an ebb and a flow. There's structure and there's flexibility. There's this duality, right? They complement one another. And so part of self-care is an awareness of that and acceptance of that ebb and flow. Not a rigid demand. Oh, it has to be this way. I have to have self-care by going to the movies and going out for a massage on this day. And if I can't, if those plans get messed up, I can't do self-care. No, self-care isn't really about doing it. It's about embracing it. It's a way of living with yourself. That's really what we're talking about when we talk about self-care, is a way of living with yourself and within yourself with intention in an integrated form with the rest of your life. And so I'm curious, does this butt up against some beliefs that you have about what self-care should be? Have I pushed some buttons? Have I created some question marks? Are there some exclamation points? Okay. Let me know. Or at the very least, let yourself know. Be honest with yourself about what is coming up here, because self-care can be sustainable. It can be both practical and powerful. And in fact, when it is practical, it can be more powerful. And I want that for you, because when we are all operating in chronic stress mode, or if we're just not taking care of ourselves in a way that's integrated and intentional, then we can feel depleted and we can feel less guided and we can feel more foggy and we can feel more confused, right? We all are able to do better, to feel better, to think better, to see better, to relate better when we are caring for ourselves in an integrated and sustainable way. I want that for you. I want that for me. I want that for all of us, because it helps us to elevate not just our own selves and our own relationships, but the world at large, because we get to bring that better version of ourselves that's more clear and focused and centered to our systems, to our families, to our children, to our colleagues, to our team members. We get to bring that version of ourselves, right? And that goes out to change the world. There's some ROI there, right? A ripple of influence that is positive and healthy, and we can maximize it and we can leverage it by really shifting our definition of self-care and helping it to be a more sustainable, more practical, and therefore more powerful version of integrating our way of being, our way of living, and our way of relating within ourselves on a day-to-day basis. Thank you so much for joining me today. If this struck something for you, it's gotten you thinking, it's gotten some juices flowing, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I put out videos like this more and more and more and more, and I love to continue to support you all, to connect with you all, and to contribute in this meaningful way. So until next time, y'all, see you later.